This is Adam Taxin, Chai95 Radio Hour, back on. Just want to point out something about the bumper music before and after Carly Robinson. The first bumper music, which was Just Another Day, that was Carly singing, a production at Northwestern University of, what's the name of the show? I'm blanking. I love the show. Next to Normal. And afterward, that was not Carly singing. That was a popular song, Mama, I'm a Big Girl Now, from a different production of Hairspray, the Broadway production, and Carly will be singing that when the time comes. It's just there's obviously no soundtrack available yet to the Chicago version because opening night is 2 days away. Let me welcome, on the subject of theater, Sharon Geller.
Hey, Adam, how are you?
Hey, Sharon, it's Bob.
Hi, Bob, how are you?
Well, let's hear, we could use jokes. That's how we are.
Yeah, it's great to be here, and it's so nice. Couldn't I have just followed the musical comedy actress? Did I have to follow a wastewater treatment plant story?
We like to challenge you.
Yeah, you certainly do. Well, I always give you a high five, and of course I did that yesterday. So since we're a day late and $1 short, I'm giving you a high 4 because it's a discount today.
Okay.
All right, here we go. Number 1. After the dentist finished examining the woman's teeth, he said, listen, I'm really sorry to tell you this, but I have to do a root canal. The woman said to the dentist, oh, my gosh, a root canal? I'd rather have a baby. And the dentist said, well, make up your mind. I have to adjust the chair. All right, number 2. 2 old guys who love baseball were talking, and they wondered if there's a baseball team in heaven. So they decide whoever dies first will let the other one know. Sure enough, a week later, one of the guys dies. And a week after that, his voice comes down from heaven. Sam, I've got good news and bad news. The good news is there is a baseball team in heaven. The bad news is you're pitching Friday. Number 3, a woman's husband dies and she calls the local newspaper to place the obituary. She says, I wanted to read, Sam died. The newspaper guy says, ma'am, for the same amount of money, you're allowed to print 5 words. So is there anything else you'd like to say? The woman says, yes, Sam died. Toyota for sale. And finally, a burglar breaks into a house, and he heads straight for the jewelry. And just as he's stuffing all the expensive rings and watches in his bag, he hears a voice. I can see you. Jesus can see you, too. The burglar freezes in his tracks, and he takes out his flashlight, and again he hears, I can see you. Jesus can see you, too. He walks over to a birdcage, and lo and behold, he sees a parrot in there. And sure enough, the parrot says, I can see you. Jesus can see you, too. So the burglar says, big deal. You're just a parrot. And the bird says, I may be just a parrot, but Jesus is a Doberman. All right, there we go.
Well, hopefully you can stay with us. Hopefully you can stay with us for the next 5 minutes till the end of the show. You saw, speaking of comedy, something at Helium the other night.
Yeah, a fantastic act called the Lampshades. Now, many of your viewers might know one half of the Lampshades is Kate Flannery. Kate Flannery is actually a Philadelphia gal, and she and I were in the same comedy improv troupe years ago called Comic Relief. She went out to Chicago to join Second City, and she met the Office gang. So she's been on the sitcom The Office since its inception. And her partner is Scott Robinson, who's from the Will Ferrell movie Anchorman. They have an act called The Lampshades, which is kind of like a takeoff on a really bad lounge act. And there's comedy and singing. It's very, very funny. They were at the Helium Comedy Club on Sansom Street in Philadelphia. This is about the 3rd time I've seen them. I've seen them in New York. I've seen them here. And, they're very, very funny. They actually did a tribute to Passover. Neither of them are Jewish, but they asked if anyone was celebrating, and then they sang a song in Hebrew. I should say they tortured the song in Hebrew. It was very funny. They also do a takeoff on a reading of Hollywood obituaries. So as one of them sings the tune The Last Dance, the other one reads all the people who have died this year in Hollywood, and one of the comments was, Liz Taylor passed away, so it looks like she'll finally be reunited with her long-lost love, Michael Jackson. So they're very smart. They're very funny. They do commercials in Japanese. It's Japanese gibberish. They sing TV show theme songs. So they're, again, they were at the Helium Comedy Club. And Richard Lewis, I want to do a plug for him, is coming. One of our tribal members, is coming April 26th, 27th, and 28th to the Helium Comedy Club. So if any of our listeners want to find out about that, they can just go to www.heliumcomedy.com.
And you were at the Prince Theater the other night as well, right?
Not the Prince. I went to the Walnut.
The Walnut, I'm sorry.
Studio 5. I saw Vanities, which is a comedy in 3 acts by Jack Heifner. This comedy ran for 5 years off Broadway in New York. So I know that there are people who like it. Having said that, I thought that the acting was a little bit on the flat side. It spans 10 years, from 1964 to 1974. It takes place in a small Texas town. We start out with cheerleaders in high school, and then we go through their college years as sorority sisters, and finally as they enter the workforce. So it's an interesting look to see how women's relationships changed with the onset of women's lib and the birth control pill.
Right.
I
not
felt,
that great, though.
What's that?
Sounds like it's not that great, though.
I wasn't that impressed with it. Well, first of all, you know me, Adam. An hour and 45 minutes with no intermission. It was too long because anyway, I didn't like it.
All right, enough about that. Let's talk. Let me just ask you a question about a show that a lot of people are looking forward to. It's practically selling out, and we're going to have the star on our show next week. I'm talking about My Fair Lady at Act 2 with Tony Braithwaite, who's going to be coming on probably Tuesday next week, maybe Monday. That's got to be one of the best casting jobs. Tony Braithwaite as Henry Higgins. Any thoughts on that?
Well, I have not seen him in this because it hasn't.
Well, it hasn't started
I don't think
yet.
It's opened yet. But what I have to say about Tony Braithwaite is he's a genius. He's a comedic genius. He's funny. I don't think there's anything that he does that isn't great.
Yeah.
He's just got a real sense of comedy, and certainly I can tell you in advance it's something worth checking out.
It's one of the great roles there is, and it's just the kind of reaction you say, aha, that person should be playing that. That's sort of like the way I had a reaction to Kim Carson being cast for in Gypsy as Rose, as Gypsy. And I heard that's coming up, but I'm looking forward to seeing him in that and having him on the show. Sharon Geller, thanks for coming on. Bob Guzzardi, thanks for co-hosting. And Kim Halloran, thanks for your technical work on this show.
Okay, thanks. Bye-bye.
Thank you. Thank you, Sharon.